So my life's work and the life's work of my colleagues here is, simply put, how do we make cultures so extraordinary that they can't help but outperform? So how do we hardwire that into culture? So the big kind of breakthrough that we stumbled across as we were studying cultures, better part of 10 years, about 24,000 people, was the following insight: that you don't look at culture as being a big monolithic thing, or talk about the culture of Cisco, or the culture of Korean Airlines, or the culture of Zappos. That's actually not the best way to look at it. It's interesting, but it's not the best way to talk about it because it doesn't let you get your arms around it. So if you don't talk about a whole company culture, then what do you talk about? We're arguing it's the tribe. Okay, now what is the tribe? Now, if you've read Seth Godin's book on tribes, mean tribe in a completely different way than Seth uses the term. It's a group of between 20 and 150 people. Okay, that's the basic building block of culture. Now, if your company is really small and you've got less than 20, don't think this doesn't apply to you. I've helped thousands of entrepreneurs get started, and I have yet to see an entrepreneurial venture that is truly a one-person show. So who else is involved? You've got funders, you've got advisors, you might have professors like me kind of sitting on an ad hoc board or perhaps an actual board. You've got your intellectual property attorney, you might have your accountant, you might have your original clients, you might even have a company that you used to work for that's got some people that want to help you succeed. So you've got this basic group that may or may not even work for the same place, okay? So what we found in the study, again, 24,000 people, better part of 10 years, is every once in a while you will come across a really dysfunctional, borderline violent, conniving, graft-oriented group of people. And we call this a stage 1 tribe. And what they say about life is that it sucks, okay? It's just unfair. Life itself is a ripoff. So I was in one organization a number of years ago. Remember when those 11 by 17 printers were really heavy? And this one guy was trying to load one, take it out to his car or his truck, and he was obviously going to hurt himself. I said, let me help. So we lifted it up, and sweat was pouring down our faces. We lifted this thing, put it in his, whatever his car or truck was. And as I was wiping the sweat off my face, I said, by the way, why are you doing the printer thing? Is it broken? Are you taking it to be fixed? He said, no, I got fired today. Those a-holes didn't give me severance. This is my severance. Stage 1 tribe, okay? I had the joy this morning. I live in LA, so I caught a 6 a.m. flight. So you can see over here on the right, my life sucked, right? Getting up at 3 to go through the TSA at 5. What's amazing about the TSA as an organization, kind of a stage 2 my life sucks, set of tribes, is that it's exactly the same level of mediocrity at 5 a.m. as it is any other time. Well, if you actually listen to what people say in TSA or DMV cultures, it nets out to, my life sucks. It's not that life sucks, that it's unfair, so I'm going to steal stuff, but it's my life sucks because I work at this place, right? Your life would suck if you worked there too. Now, this is 25% of employed tribes, okay? We saw these in some of the best performing companies in the world, including some of the, really great companies that have been mentioned so far today. So my question is not, what do you gripe about? Because, of course, none of you gripe because you come to places like this, right? Filled with joy and happiness. But when you hear people at work complain, the question is, what do they complain about? That's the question. And I mean this non-rhetorically. Chairs. What else? Perfect. IT. It's always IT's fault. What else? They don't like the free food. Okay, now you just got to focus on that. Wow, so they give us free food. They promised us free food. They didn't tell us it was going to suck. And my chair is really uncomfortable. I got to sit in this uncomfortable chair all day. And then my computer's not working, so I call IT. And IT doesn't fix my problem. So then I want to go munch on food. Oh, but I can't do that because the food's sucky, right? And this just begins to spin. And then what do other people say? It's too hot and too cold. Yeah, it's too hot. I come over here. It's too hot. It's too cold. Then I got to stop and get food. No, wait, that sucks. Go back to my computer. No, my chair's uncomfortable. And someone got something I didn't. They've got better food over there. What do they do so they get better food? But we get lousy food here. They have better chairs over there. That's not right. What did you get for your raise? 2%? Really? I heard they were giving 15% over there. Okay. So imagine that we were, again, a tribe, that we all sort of worked together, that we had the collective responsibility for getting things done, and this is how we talked. Then the question is very simple. How much work would get done? And I think the answer is pretty clear, like the TSA, right? Every once in a while, things freeze. Somebody notices a way to improve things. Are they going to speak up? No. So what do? Well, the answer is you encourage someone to speak up, and then you go after the environment that immediately will try to shut that person down. In other words, the goal is not to affect individual behavior, it's to affect the reactions to it, okay? And that's very different. So again, this is 25% of employed tribes that we found in our study. This number tends to go up in recessions, and we stopped collecting data at the start of the recessions. The number's probably higher. Now, the next one here, what we call a stage 3, 3 to 5, the theme of it is, I'm great, and you're not. I wish you were great like me, but you're just not as great as me. I mean, I'm just, what's the word? Better. Okay. So where do you find this? We find it in venture capital. You find it in a lot of high-tech firms. You find it in healthcare. You find it in universities. You find it in firms that do consulting of any kind, because I'm the expert. You got a problem. Come and hire me, and I will tell you what the solution is. I mean, that's just what runs these things, right? Here's the deal. The smarter you as a person are, the more accomplished you are, the more letters you have after your name, stuff like that, the cooler your bio is when somebody reads it, the more likely you as a person are to express stage 3 tendencies. Now, why would that be? Well, because as a society, we value individual accomplishment. Now, here's the point. You never get to the kind of culture that we're here to create when you have this kind of culture. So if you do most of what companies try to do to build a great workplace, you get here and no further. Things like hire for skills, not for values. That takes you here. Because I'm really skilled at what I do. I know how to solve this problem. If all of you would just shut up and do what I say, we'd solve this thing. So the big takeaway so far is that cultures only move one stage at a time, or one level at a time. So if you've got a TSA-like culture, right, they all freeze like zombies, where do you want to take them? Not to 4. They can't go there. I mean, just imagine doing a team building at the DMV. What would that be like? Or going to the DMV and say, we're here to assess your core values. People would say, I don't have any core values. Okay. So the net out of this is, number 1, culture determines performance, which I think you knew walking in. Number 2, what do you want to do? You want to listen for where your tribes are, including the tribe on the board. So if you've got a board at stage 3 and it's conversation without end and they're all trying to pass the buck about who writes Scott's performance appraisal, right? You want to find their values and create a stage 4 thing on the board. Not all tribes in your company need to have the same values, but they do need to have their values. And ideally, you've got some values that cut across the whole thing, creating that sense of oneness. You want to elevate your company, all of it, to stage 4, and then do the occasional leaps into 5, and that's where you have the history-making innovation that does really cool stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you.